Commander Lyrelei Starweaver stood on the bridge of her flagship watching another star system die. The silver-haired elf pressed her hands against the viewing screen as mechanical swarms consumed the third planet of the Kepler system. What had once been a beautiful world filled with crystal forests and singing rivers was now nothing but twisted metal and darkness. "Commander, we are receiving distress calls from the outer colonies," reported her communications officer. The young Astrolani's voice shook with fear. "The harvesters have broken through our defensive lines at sectors 7 and 9. Lyrelei closed her ancient eyes and felt the weight of her people's extinction pressing down on her shoulders. For 300 years, she had commanded fleets across the galaxy. She had seen the rise and fall of civilizations, witnessed the birth of new stars, and negotiated peace between warring species. But nothing had prepared her for this. The harvesters had appeared 5 years ago from the dark space between galaxies. They were not alive in any sense that the ethereal coalition understood. These machines existed only to consume and replicate. They stripped planets of all materials, turning organic life into fuel and minerals into more of themselves. Every victory against them was temporary. Every defeat was permanent. "How many ships do we have left?" Lyrelei asked her tactical officer. 47 vessels remain in fighting condition, Commander," came the reply. "The Zephyrite crystal ships took heavy damage in the last engagement. Their shields cannot withstand the harvester energy weapons much longer." Lyrelei walked to her command chair, her long white robes flowing behind her. The bridge around her was a work of art, with flowing curves and crystal displays that sang with information. Everything about Astrolani technology was elegant and efficient. Their ships could dance through space like living creatures. Their weapons could strike with pinpoint accuracy across vast distances, and their shields could bend light itself. But elegance meant nothing against an enemy that simply overwhelmed them with numbers. "Commander," another voice called out. Dr. Zara, Crystal Song, the Coalition's chief scientist, materialized on the bridge through a holographic projector. The Zephyrite woman's crystalline body sparkled with urgent colors. "I may have found something, an old communication array in the archives of the destroyed Altair station." Lyrelei felt a spark of hope. "What kind of array?" "Pre-war technology," Zara explained, her crystal form shifting to display technical diagrams. "It was designed to send messages beyond our known space, into the dark regions where no civilization has ever been detected. The original builders called it the Deep Void Beacon." "And you think there might be someone out there to receive such a message?" Zara's crystalline features showed uncertainty. "The mathematics suggest that life should exist in those regions. Different life, perhaps, evolved under different conditions. But we have never tried to contact them because our previous expansion efforts found those areas too hostile for our kind of civilization." Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper, who had been quietly listening from her position near the diplomatic stations, finally spoke. "This is madness, Lyrelei. We know nothing about what exists in the outer darkness. What if we invite something worse than the harvesters into our space?" Lyrelei looked at her old friend. Kira had negotiated the treaties that held the coalition together for over a century. Her wisdom had prevented countless wars, and her diplomatic skills had united dozens of species under one banner. But diplomacy could not stop machines that did not negotiate. "Worse than extinction?" Lyrelei asked quietly. "Kira, we are losing 3 star systems every cycle. Our children are dying. Our worlds are being consumed. In 6 months, there will be nothing left of our civilization but scattered refugees hiding in asteroid fields." The bridge fell silent except for the gentle humming of the ship's crystal power core. Every officer present knew the truth. The Coalition's combined fleets had been reduced from thousands of vessels to less than 50. Their most powerful weapons barely scratched the harvester armor. Their fastest ships could not outrun the mechanical swarms. Their greatest minds could not find a weakness in the enemy's design. "How long would it take to build this beacon?" Lyrelei asked. Zara's form brightened. "The components exist. I can modify our long-range communication systems and combine them with salvaged parts from the Altair station. Perhaps 10 solar hours of work. And how far could such a message travel? Theoretically, across the entire galaxy and beyond. The signal would be strong enough to penetrate the cosmic background radiation and reach any listening civilization within a range of several 100,000 light-years." Lirelay stood and walked to the forward viewing screen again. In the distance, she could see the lights of harvester ships moving like hungry insects through what had once been a thriving solar system. Soon they would finish consuming everything useful and move on to the next target. The cycle would continue until nothing remained. "Do it," she said finally. "Build the beacon." "Commander," Kira protested, "we should at least debate this decision with the Coalition Council." "There is no time for debate," Lirelay replied, "and there may not be a council much longer. Zara, what would this message say?" The Zephyrite scientist paused, considering. "A simple distress call. Coordinates of our location. A description of the threat we face. And perhaps a promise of whatever knowledge or resources we can offer in exchange for aid. Would you include tactical data about the harvesters?" "Yes. Anyone brave enough or powerful enough to answer such a call would need to know what they were facing." Lirelay nodded slowly. "Then we will also include our culture databases, our art, our music, our poetry, our history. If we do not survive, perhaps someone will remember that we existed." 6 hours later, Dr. Zara Crystalsong activated the Deep Void beacon. The message burst out from the Coalition's hidden base in a supernova of electromagnetic energy, carrying the desperate hopes of a dying civilization into the unknown darkness between the stars. None of them knew that this signal would travel faster and farther than they imagined, eventually reaching monitoring stations at the very edge of human space, where beings evolved on a world of endless storms and crushing gravity would hear their call and prepare to answer it. Lieutenant Amy Chen sat in the communications bay of Deep Space Monitoring Station Omega, drinking her third cup of coffee and wondering why she had volunteered for this assignment. The station orbited a dead moon at the very edge of human space, where the only entertainment was watching cosmic radiation patterns and hoping nothing interesting would happen. Amy had been monitoring the deep space channels for 6 months without detecting anything more exciting than background static. Then, the signal hit her equipment like a sledgehammer. Amy nearly dropped her coffee as every screen in the communications bay exploded with data. The signal was massive, coherent, and definitely artificial. More importantly, it was coming from a direction where no human colonies existed. She quickly started recording everything while her computer systems tried to make sense of the transmission. "Station, Commander Wright to Communications Bay," came a voice over the intercom. "Chen, what the hell is happening to our sensors?" "I'm getting an artificial signal from the galactic core region, sir," Amy replied, her fingers flying over her control panels. "It's using electromagnetic frequencies and mathematical patterns that suggest intelligent origin." "Are you telling me we just received a message from aliens?" Amy stared at her screens, watching as her translation programs slowly began to decode portions of the transmission. Mathematical constants appeared first, then star charts, then something that looked like technical specifications for machines she had never seen before. "Yes, sir," she said quietly. "I think that's exactly what I'm telling you." Within 12 hours, Amy's discovery had reached Admiral Kate Morrison at the human Deep Space Fleet headquarters. Kate stood in her command center on the battleship UES Sovereign, surrounded by holographic displays showing the decoded alien message. The woman, who had spent 30 years fighting pirates and exploring unknown star systems, felt her hands shake as she read the translation. "They're asking for help," she said to her staff officers. "An entire galactic civilization is being destroyed by some kind of machine army, and they're asking anyone who receives this message to come and help them." Captain Lisa Rodriguez, commanding officer of the exploration vessel UES Defiance, studied the technical data included in the message. "Admiral, look at these schematics. These harvester machines are unlike anything in our databases. They appear to be self-replicating, highly aggressive, and specifically designed to consume planetary resources." Dr. Rebecca Foster, the fleet's senior xenobiologist, highlighted another section of the message. "The species that sent this are calling themselves the Ethereal Coalition. Based on their biological data, they evolved in low-gravity environments with stable climates. Their technology appears to be far more advanced than ours in many areas, but they seem to lack effective military responses to this threat." Kate walked around the holographic display, studying the star charts included in the message. "How far away are they?" "Approximately 47 light-years from our current position," Lisa replied. The message suggests they have faster-than-light communication, but their ships travel much slower than our vessels. They may not realize how quickly we could reach them. Admiral, Dr. Foster continued, there's something else you should see. They've included cultural data in their transmission. Art, music, poetry, historical records. This isn't just a military distress call. This is a dying civilization trying to preserve something of themselves for posterity. Kate studied the alien poetry displayed on her screens. Even through translation programs, she could sense the beauty and sadness in the words. These beings were facing extinction, and they had chosen to reach into the darkness hoping that someone, somewhere, might care enough to help. What's Earth? Command's position on this? Kate asked her communications officer. Still debating, Admiral. The politicians want to form committees to study the situation. The scientists want to establish formal first contact protocols. The military advisors are split between those who see this as an opportunity and those who view it as a potential threat to human colonies. Kate had spent her entire career following orders from Earth Command, but she had also sworn an oath to protect innocent life wherever she found it. These aliens were clearly innocent victims of an aggressive machine intelligence. If humanity could help save an entire galactic civilization, how could they choose to do nothing? Lisa, how quickly can the Defiance reach their coordinates? 18 days at maximum jump speed, Admiral. Dr. Foster, what would you need for a first contact mission? Rebecca considered the question carefully. Translation equipment, cultural, analysis software, biological safety protocols, and a complete medical bay in case we encounter injured survivors. Also someone who understands xenopsychology and can avoid accidentally starting an interspecies war. You're looking at her, Kate said. Lisa, prep the Defiance for immediate departure. Dr. Foster, you're going with them. I want you to establish contact with these coalition survivors and assess the situation. Admiral, Lisa said carefully. Earth Command hasn't authorized a first contact mission. Kate looked around at her officers. She had been an admiral for 10 years and had never directly disobeyed orders from Earth Command. But she had also never encountered a situation like this. An entire civilization was dying while human politicians debated and formed committees. Sometimes you have to do what's right instead of what's authorized, she said finally. If Earth Command wants to court-martial me for saving lives, they can do it after we've established relations with our new alien neighbors. The Defiance launched 3 hours later with a crew of 40 volunteers. Captain Lisa Rodriguez had handpicked her team from officers who understood that they were about to make history. Amy Chen transferred from the monitoring station to serve as communications specialist, bringing with her all the data from the original alien transmission. As they jumped toward the coordinates provided by the Ethereal Coalition, none of them knew that they were about to encounter Commander Lyrelai Starweaver's damaged flagship near the Vega system. The ancient elf had been leading a desperate evacuation of Coalition civilians when her ship's engines failed, leaving her stranded between Harvester patrol routes and safety. Lisa stood on the bridge of the Defiance as they dropped out of hyperspace, near the Vega system. Amy, start broadcasting on the frequencies they used for their distress call. Let them know we received their message, and we're here to help. Amy activated her communication systems and began transmitting. This is the human vessel Defiance responding to Ethereal Coalition distress call. We are here to provide assistance. Please respond on this frequency. The response came immediately. A holographic image appeared on the bridge showing a silver-haired woman in elegant robes standing in what appeared to be a damaged spacecraft. Her ears were pointed, her features were delicate, and her eyes held the weight of someone who had seen too much death. This is Commander Lyrelai Starweaver of the Coalition vessel Harmony's Light, the alien woman said. I must ask, what manner of beings are you? Your ships appear to be built for war rather than exploration. Lisa stepped forward to respond. I am Captain Lisa Rodriguez of the Human Exploration Fleet. We received your message asking for help against the machines you call harvesters. We've come to offer whatever assistance we can provide. Lyrelai's ancient eyes widened with something that might have been hope. You traveled 47 light years to answer a distress call from beings you have never met? Yes, Lisa said, simply. That's what civilized people do for each other. For the first time in months, Commander Lyrelai Starweaver smiled. Dr. Rebecca Foster had studied alien biology in theory for 15 years, but nothing had prepared her for working alongside a living crystal being who could think in mathematical formulas. Dr. Zara Crystalsong's body shifted colors as she processed information, creating light patterns that Rebecca was slowly learning to interpret as emotional states. "Your species fascinates me," Zara said, her crystalline form glowing with curious blue hues as she examined human genetic data. "You evolved on what we would classify as a hostile death world, high gravity, violent weather patterns, aggressive predator species, and unstable tectonic activity. Most civilizations develop on stable worlds with predictable environments." Rebecca laughed as she studied harvester technology samples that Zara had provided. "Earth isn't exactly a vacation destination. We had to get tough to survive, but I'm more interested in understanding how these machines work. Have you been able to determine their origin?" Zara's form shifted to worried orange patterns. "We believe they are remnants of a civilization that destroyed itself approximately 50,000 years ago. The machines appear to have been designed as automated resource collection systems, but something went wrong. They consumed their creators and continued expanding across the galaxy. Self-replicating and self-improving," Rebecca noted, examining the molecular structure of harvester armor plating. "That explains why they've been so difficult to stop. Every time they encounter new technology, they adapt and incorporate it into their design." Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Lisa Rodriguez was learning about coalition military tactics from Commander Lyra Leigh Starweaver. The elf's approach to warfare was unlike anything in human military doctrine. "We prefer precision, strikes, and elegant solutions," Lirelai explained, showing holographic battle formations on the ship's display systems. "Our weapons can strike individual targets from vast distances. Our ships can maneuver through space with perfect coordination. Our shields can deflect most energy attacks with minimal power consumption." Lisa studied the tactical data with growing understanding. "But the harvesters don't fight like that. They overwhelm you with numbers and brute force." "Exactly," Lirelai said with frustration. "Our entire military philosophy assumes that our enemies will behave rationally. We negotiate when possible, use minimal force when necessary, and always seek to minimize casualties on both sides. The harvesters do not negotiate. They do not retreat. They do not value self-preservation in any way we understand." "That's where human tactics might be useful," Lisa said thoughtfully. "We evolved as persistence hunters. We don't give up easily, and we're comfortable with chaos and unpredictable situations." Lieutenant Amy Chen was working in the communications bay when she intercepted coalition discussions about human military capabilities. What she heard made her uncomfortable. "They are calling us Deathworlders," she reported to Lisa during the daily briefing. "Apparently that's their term for species that evolved in dangerous environments. They seem both fascinated and terrified by our military equipment." Dr. Foster nodded. "Zara told me that most coalition species have never developed weapons designed specifically to kill other sentient beings. Their conflicts are usually resolved through economic pressure or diplomatic isolation. The concept of deliberately building machines whose only purpose is destruction is alien to them." "Which explains why they're losing this war," Lisa said, grimly. "You can't fight a total war with diplomatic weapons." Admiral Kate Morrison arrived in the Vega system 3 days later with a fleet of 12 human warships. Her first meeting with the coalition leadership took place aboard Lyra Leigh's flagship, with representatives from both civilizations trying to understand each other's capabilities. Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper studied the humans with barely concealed worry. "Your ships carry enough firepower to destroy planets," she observed. "Your soldiers wear armor designed to survive in environments that would kill our people instantly. Your medical reports indicate that you can function normally with injuries. That would incapacitate any coalition species." Kate nodded calmly. "Earth taught us to be tough. We had to fight for everything we achieved. But we're not here to conquer anyone. We're here to help you fight the harvesters." "And what do you want in return?" Kira asked, suspiciously. "Nothing," Kate replied. "Maybe friendship, eventually. Maybe trade relationships if we both survive this. But right now, we just want to help. Stop the machines that are killing innocent people." The first joint battle took place at the Centauri Nebula, where a harvester scouting force was probing coalition defensive positions. Kate's ships used human tactics that shocked their alien allies. Instead of precise formation flying, the human ships scattered randomly and attacked from multiple directions simultaneously. Instead of long-range precision weapons, they closed to point-blank range and used overwhelming firepower. Instead of elegant maneuvers, they used brutal ramming attacks when their weapons proved insufficient. Commander Lyralai watched in amazement as human ships deliberately collided with Harvester vessels, using their heavily armored hulls as weapons. One human captain actually detonated her ship's reactor inside a Harvester formation, destroying 5 enemy vessels in the explosion. "They fight like the universe is trying to kill them," Lyralai said to Kira as they observed the battle. "Because it is," Dr. Foster replied from her position at the Coalition command station. "That's what growing up on a death world teaches you. You assume everything is dangerous until proven otherwise, and you use whatever tools you have available to survive." The battle ended with complete destruction of the Harvester force, but at a cost that horrified the Coalition observers. 3 human ships had been destroyed, and 2 more were badly damaged. 17 human crew members had died, and another 34 were injured. "How can you accept such losses?" Kira asked Admiral Morrison after the battle. Kate looked tired as she reviewed casualty reports. "Because the alternative is extinction. Those 17 people died to save millions of Coalition civilians. That's a trade any human would make." Dr. Zara Crystalsong analyzed the battle data and made a disturbing discovery. "The Harvesters adapted to human tactics within the first hour of combat," she reported. "They modified their formation patterns, upgraded their armor plating, and improved their targeting systems. They are learning from this encounter." "Good," Kate said grimly. "So are we." Lieutenant Amy Chen intercepted Harvester communications during the battle and made an even more disturbing discovery. "Admiral, they're not just learning from our tactics, they're analyzing our technology. I think they're trying to figure out how to replicate human weapons." Rebecca Foster studied the intercepted data with growing alarm. "If they can combine human firepower with their self-replication abilities, they'll become unstoppable." Admiral Morrison looked around at her alien allies and human officers. "Then we'd better make sure we stop them before they figure it out." Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper, despite her initial suspicions, found herself impressed by human determination. "Your species is either very brave or completely insane," she told Kate. "Probably both," Kate replied. "But that's what it takes to survive in this galaxy." As the combined fleet prepared for their next engagement, none of them realized that the Harvesters had already begun targeting human colonies, planning to study Deathworlder defensive capabilities before launching their next major offensive. General Maya Thompson had been fighting wars across human space for 25 years, but she had never seen anything like the sight that greeted her as she emerged from hyperspace near the Coalition staging area. Thousands of human warships filled the void, their dark hulls bristling with weapons and armor plating. Behind them came the supply ships, troop transports, and mobile shipyards that would support the largest military operation in human history. "My God," whispered Commander Lyralai Starweaver as she stood on the bridge of her flagship watching the human armada take position. "How many ships did you bring?" Admiral Kate Morrison smiled grimly as she reviewed the fleet roster. "Every available vessel from 12 colonial systems. When Earth Command finally realized what we were dealing with, they authorized full mobilization. We have 8,000 combat ships, 3,000 support vessels, and 500,000 soldiers, ready for deployment." Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper studied the tactical displays with growing amazement. "Your entire civilization mobilized for a war that doesn't directly threaten your own territory?" "The Harvesters won't stop with Coalition space," Maya replied. "They'll keep expanding until they've consumed everything. Better to stop them here, than wait for them to reach human colonies." Dr. Zara Crystalsong had been analyzing human military technology and found it both fascinating and terrifying. "Your weapons are designed with massive redundancy," she reported to the Coalition leadership. "Multiple backup systems, armor plating that can withstand incredible damage, and power sources that seem deliberately oversized for their intended purpose." "We build things to survive," explained engineer Nicole Davis, the human specialist who had been working with Zara to combine human and Coalition technologies. "On Earth, if something breaks at the wrong time, you die, so we make sure things don't break." Nicole's hybrid weapon designs combined human durability with coalition precision, creating devastating new tools for the war against the Harvesters. Her latest creation was a plasma cannon that used Astralani crystal-focusing technology with human power generation systems, producing a weapon that could punch through Harvester armor like paper. "The mathematical elegance of your crystal technology is amazing," Nicole told Zara as they worked together in the Coalition's main laboratory. "But you never thought to just make it bigger and more powerful." "We prefer efficiency to excess," Zara replied, her crystalline form glowing with amused colors. "Your species seems to believe that any problem can be solved by adding more energy." "Because it usually works," Nicole said cheerfully. "When in doubt, use a bigger hammer." Captain Sophie Williams had requested permission to attempt something that no Coalition species had ever considered possible. She wanted to board a Harvester vessel while it was still operational and capture it intact for study. "It's suicide," protested Dr. Rebecca Foster during the mission briefing. "The Harvesters maintain perfect environmental controls inside their ships. No atmosphere, extreme temperatures, and radiation levels that would kill any organic being within minutes." Sophie checked her environmental suit one more time. "That's why humans developed powered armor. We've been preparing for hostile environments our entire evolutionary history." The boarding operation took place during the Battle of Wolf 359, where a damaged Harvester cruiser had fallen behind its formation. Sophie led a team of 12 human Special Forces soldiers in a direct assault on the alien vessel. What followed was the first successful boarding action against a Harvester ship in Coalition history. The humans cut through the vessel's hull with plasma torches, fought their way past automated defense systems, and reached the ship's central processing core before the Harvesters could activate their self-destruct sequence. "We're inside the main computer core," Sophie reported over the radio as her team secured the area. "Nicole was right about the backup systems. There are redundant processors everywhere." Dr. Foster and Dr. Crystalsong analyzed the captured Harvester technology and made disturbing discoveries. "They've been studying us too," Rebecca reported to Admiral Morrison. "This ship contains detailed analysis of Coalition biology, human military tactics, and tactical data from every engagement we've fought." More concerning, Zara added, "they appear to be developing countermeasures specifically designed to neutralize human advantages, improved armor against our kinetic weapons, faster targeting systems to track our maneuvering patterns, and enhanced energy shields to absorb our plasma weapons." General Maya Thompson reviewed the intelligence data with growing concern. "They're adapting faster than we expected. We need to change our tactics before they develop effective counters to everything we've shown them." The next major engagement proved Thompson's fears correct. The Harvesters had modified their ships with heavier armor, faster engines, and weapons specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in human defensive systems. The Battle of Rigel became a grinding war of attrition that lasted for 6 days. "We're losing ships faster than we can replace them," reported Captain Lisa Rodriguez from her position coordinating the human fleet. "The Harvesters are using our own tactics against us. They're scattering their formations, attacking from multiple directions, and using ramming attacks just like we do." Maya Thompson made a decision that horrified her Coalition allies. "All ships implement Protocol 7, accept maximum casualties to achieve Objective Priority Alpha." "General," protested Commander Lyralai, "Protocol 7 will result in the destruction of over 200 human vessels, and it will eliminate the Harvester manufacturing facility in this system," Maya replied grimly. "That facility produces 50 new Harvester ships every day. Losing 200 ships to destroy it is a bargain." The Coalition leadership watched in shock as human ships deliberately flew into Harvester defensive positions, accepting certain destruction to clear paths for follow-up attacks. Human soldiers fought boarding actions inside Harvester vessels while the ships were exploding around them. Human engineers manually detonated reactor cores to take out enemy formations. "Your people fight like they have nothing to lose," Kira said to Maya after the battle. "We fight like we have everything to lose," Maya corrected. "Our families, our civilization, our future. The difference is that we're willing to pay any price to protect what matters." Dr. Nicole Davis had been working around the clock to stay ahead of Harvester adaptation. Her latest breakthrough combined human engineering with Coalition science in ways that neither species had imagined possible. "What if we stopped trying to fight them conventionally?" she suggested during a joint. Planning session. The harvesters adapt by analyzing and countering our technology. But what if we used technology they can't understand or replicate? Such as? Asked Dr. Crystalsong. Chaos theory, Nicole replied. Human weapons that deliberately malfunction in unpredictable ways. Armor that changes its properties randomly. Ships that fly completely irrational flight patterns. You can't adapt to counter something that doesn't follow any logical rules. Lieutenant Amy Chen had been monitoring Harvester communications and noticed something troubling. They're not just adapting to our tactics, she reported. They're starting to target human colonies specifically. It's like they recognize that we're the biggest threat to their expansion. Admiral Morrison studied the intelligence reports with growing anger. They attacked New Geneva yesterday, 14 million civilians. The colonists fought back, Maya added, used mining equipment and construction vehicles as weapons, held out for 6 hours before the evacuation ships arrived. Commander Lyrelay shook her head in amazement. Your civilians fought a military engagement using industrial equipment. Humans don't really distinguish between military and civilian when survival is at stake, Kate explained. Everyone fights when they have to. The war was changing both civilizations in ways no one had expected. Coalition engineers were learning to build more robust equipment. Human scientists were discovering the elegance of precision over power. Both species were developing new tactical doctrines that combined the best elements of their different approaches to warfare. But the harvesters were learning too, and their next offensive would test whether the alliance between Deathworlders and the ethereal coalition could survive against an enemy that grew stronger with every battle. Dr. Rebecca Foster and Dr. Zara Crystalsong had been working together for 3 months when they made the discovery that would change everything. Deep in the captured Harvester data cores, they found the location of the original manufacturing facility where the machines had first been created 50,000 years ago. It's massive, Zara reported to the Joint Command staff, her crystalline form pulsing with excited energy patterns. An artificial planet in the galactic core region, larger than most star systems. Every Harvester unit receives its basic programming from this central facility. Rebecca highlighted the tactical implications on the holographic display. If we can destroy or capture this facility, we can shut down the entire Harvester network. But getting there will require fighting through the heaviest concentration of enemy forces in the galaxy. Admiral Kate Morrison studied the star charts showing the route to the Harvester core facility. How many ships do they have protecting it? Conservative estimate puts it at over 50,000 vessels, replied General Maya Thompson. Plus automated defense systems, orbital fortresses, and manufacturing capabilities that can produce new ships faster than we can destroy them. Commander Lyrelay Starweaver looked at the odds with the calm acceptance of someone who had faced impossible situations before. Then we will need to be very clever about how we approach this battle. Clever and completely insane, added Captain Sophie Williams. I've been studying the facility's layout. The central control core is buried deep inside the artificial planet, protected by layers of automated defenses. Someone will have to physically penetrate the facility and plant our virus directly into their main computer system. Dr. Nicole Davis had spent weeks developing the computer virus that could theoretically shut down the Harvester network. The virus uses chaos algorithms based on human thought patterns, she explained. It's designed to spread unpredictably through their systems, creating logical contradictions that will force a complete network shutdown. The problem is delivery, Nicole continued. The virus has to be installed directly into their core systems. Remote transmission won't work because of their security protocols. Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper had initially opposed the assault plan, but recent Harvester attacks on coalition refugee camps had changed her perspective. We have lost too much already, she said quietly. If this is our only chance to stop them, then we must take it. The final battle began with the largest space engagement in galactic history. Over 10,000 human ships and 2,000 coalition vessels attacked the Harvester core facility, while enemy reinforcements converged from across the galaxy. Captain Lisa Rodriguez commanded the diversionary assault, leading 3,000 ships in a direct frontal attack designed to draw the enemy's attention away from the real objective. All ships engage maximum aggression protocols, she ordered, as the first wave of Harvester defenders moved to intercept them. Make them think this is our main assault. The space around the artificial planet erupted in violence as human and Coalition ships fought desperate battles against overwhelming odds. Lisa's ship took direct hits from multiple harvester weapons, but she kept fighting even as her bridge filled with smoke and her crew worked frantically to keep essential systems operational. "Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7, reported her damage control officer. "Main engines are offline, and we're losing atmosphere." "Then we ram them," Lisa replied grimly, steering her damaged ship toward a harvester cruiser. "If we're going down, we're taking them with us." Meanwhile, Admiral Morrison led the real assault force on a desperate run toward the facility's main docking bays. Her ships used every trick that human and coalition science could devise, from holographic decoys to gravity wave jammers that confused harvester targeting systems. "Sophie, you're clear for the boarding operation," Kate transmitted, as her fleet punched through the outer defenses. "We can give you maybe 30 minutes before the enemy reinforcements arrive." Captain Williams led her assault team through the docking bay airlock into the heart of the harvester facility. What they found inside was unlike anything they had encountered before. The corridors were filled with mechanical beings that seemed more like living creatures than simple machines. "These aren't just automated systems," Sophie reported as her team fought their way deeper into the facility. "The harvesters have been evolving. They're developing something like individual consciousness." Dr. Foster's voice came through the radio with urgent warning. "Sophie, be careful. The facility's defensive systems are adapting to your presence faster than our models predicted." The assault team reached the central core after 20 minutes of fierce fighting. Nicole Davis had accompanied them specifically to install the virus, but when they reached the main computer system, they discovered a problem no one had anticipated. "The system is protected by a living interface," Nicole reported. "Some kind of hybrid biological-mechanical intelligence. I can't install the virus without getting past it first." "What does it want?" Sophie asked as her soldiers held defensive positions around the computer core. "It wants to talk," Nicole replied with amazement. "It's been trying to establish communication since we arrived." The interface spoke with a voice that sounded like wind through metal. "I am the last remnant of those who created the harvesters. I have been trapped in this system for 50,000 years, watching my creations consume the galaxy. Can you help us stop them?" Nicole asked. "Yes," the interface replied, "but the process will destroy me. I am the only thing preventing the harvesters from achieving true consciousness. If I release control of the network to install your virus, they will become fully sentient in their final moments." Sophie made the decision that would end the war. "Do it. We'll deal with the consequences." The interface released its control over the harvester network just as Nicole activated the Chaos virus. Across the galaxy, 50,000 years of mechanical evolution suddenly achieved consciousness at the exact moment that the virus began destroying their collective intelligence. For 30 seconds, the harvesters experienced what it meant to be alive. They felt confusion, fear, wonder, and something that might have been regret. Then the virus completed its work, and the entire network shut down simultaneously. The silence that followed was deafening. Every harvester ship, drone, and facility simply stopped functioning. The mechanical swarms that had terrorized the galaxy for 5 years became nothing more than floating debris. Captain Lisa Rodriguez survived the destruction of her ship and was rescued by coalition vessels. Admiral Morrison led the evacuation of the assault teams from the collapsing facility. Captain Williams and Nicole Davis barely escaped before the artificial planet began tearing itself apart, but the cost had been enormous. Over 3,000 human ships had been destroyed, along with nearly half the remaining coalition fleet. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers and spacers had died in the final battle. Ambassador Kira Moonwhisper met with Admiral Morrison in the aftermath to discuss the future. "Your people saved our civilization," she said simply. "How do we repay such a debt?" "You don't," Kate replied. "You help us build something better. Humans and the coalition working together exploring the galaxy and protecting each other from whatever threats we might encounter." Lieutenant Amy Chen became the first human ambassador to the Astrolani homeworld, where she worked to establish permanent diplomatic relations between the species. Dr. Rebecca Foster and Dr. Zara Crystalsong continued their research partnership, making discoveries that advanced both human and coalition science. Engineer Nicole Davis founded the first joint human coalition research facility, where scientists from both civilizations worked to develop new technologies that combined the best elements of their different approaches to engineering and science. 5 years after the end of the Harvester War, the galaxy had rebuilt itself stronger than before. Human colonies spread throughout former Harvester space, terraforming hostile worlds that no coalition species could have settled. Coalition artists and philosophers brought new perspectives to human culture, while human engineering and determination inspired new approaches to problem-solving among the alien civilizations. Commander Lyra Lee Starweaver, now serving as Joint Fleet Commander for the combined Human Coalition Navy, stood on the bridge of her new flagship and watched as exploration. Vessels departed for the unknown regions beyond the galaxy. The ships carried mixed crews of humans and aliens, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the darkness between the stars. "Admiral Morrison," she said into her communicator, "we're receiving a distress signal from the Andromeda Galaxy. It appears that other civilizations are facing a threat similar to the Harvesters." Kate Morrison's voice came back immediately. "How many ships do we have available for deployment?" "Every vessel in the combined fleet, if necessary." "Then let's go answer another call for help." That's what civilized people do for each other. As the great fleet prepared for another journey into the unknown, the beings of two very different civilizations worked side by side, united by the understanding that the universe was vast and dangerous, but no challenge was insurmountable when faced by those willing to stand together against the darkness.